I think, first of all, if you have children, your schools. You need to pay attention to who is governing your school and the education of your child. But I would say more importantly as a whole, your elected officials, your city council members, your even in organizations like your Chamber of Commerce, because we see how they come into these organizations, these local elected positions, and they try to look like they're doing good to gain the trust of the community. And that's how they seep in and then they run for office, right? Because they're like, oh, that person helps us. They help that, then do this. Let's get them in. And we've seen that in our own local elections. You have to pay attention to what's happening, who's governing, who's coming up for, running different elections. Because if you don't pay attention locally, if you can't get those people in here locally, you're not going to make any difference.
But how do you pay attention? You go to a town hall? You go to a school board meeting?
I would say, first of all, it's very easy with social media to pay attention. You could even just turn on your Instagram and you see things happening. But I would say if you have kids, even if you can't go to the school board meeting, I would say 100% watch the meeting. It's once a month. Once a month, watch it. Watch how these people talk. Watch how they're developing things. I watched. And
it's entertaining, right?
It shouldn't be entertaining, but hey, let's be real. So I watched.
Reality show.
I had another, we had a parent group. We still have a parent group here locally that I used to be the president of. And now we just, it's just a bunch of us parents doing the right thing, right? One of the fathers in our local parent group, he recently attended another school board meeting to help them fight the good fight against this one teacher who was doing bad things. He went to their local school board meeting. Well, I couldn't get there because my kids had something going on at school, but I was able to go back and watch it, right? And I'm over there just looking out in, and I'm all, oh my gosh, are these people really making the decisions for these kids? One meeting. And I already, like, as a normal person with common sense, was like, oh, Lord, help us, right? Mm. Pay attention to these meetings. You will find out so much. Your local city council meetings are usually once a month again, or twice a month. It depends on how much business they have to do. Go to them, sit there. It's once a month. Like once a month, your whether you're Democrat or Republican, your committee, your local, Republican committees or your local Democrat committees, go to those meetings, see who's making those decisions, because ultimately those are usually people in positions that city council and state and stuff that you want to hold accountable. Because again, just because they have the same thing that you're registered as, political party registered, doesn't mean they're always doing the right thing too. You need to hold accountable to those that are in your direct response. Like, as much as we're linking arms with those school board members all over California, there's certain things that still are more intimate to your own community that you're able to pay attention to, right? We can warn what's happening at the state level with Tony Thurmond and legislation, the legislators. But as local, how are you going to do that unless you're paying attention to your local elected officials and the decisions they're making? I mean, the county board of supervisors, LA does some really crazy things over there. I mean, you saw with the deportation thing and the resolutions, that people would automatically know by just their actions what they're about and what they're fighting for, right? Pay attention to your local, because that's when we start linking arms. We have a bigger heart to fight the big fights that really, really matter for the most of us, because we're paying attention to our local. We have fuel to say, okay, this isn't right, or this is what we want the direction to be in, and it's not going in this direction. We need to change it, right?
Because you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and they complicate the system. That's why, as much as it is complicated, and we got it in a little bit off topic in the beginning with how, the government works, right? And this is our national government. I would say pay attention, because sometimes they make it look too complicated to where you're like, oh, I don't understand that. I'll leave it for them. Well, if you don't understand a little bit of it, how are you going to hold your elected official accountable, right, for what they're doing? Because you can have 500 people go and get pissed off that a boy's in the girls' restroom, but if you don't understand that it's a law made by Senate and Assembly up in California that will not overturn that law, how are you going to actually make the difference? How are you going to hold anybody accountable? Get what I'm saying?
You're doing the wrong thing.
So you are voting those people continuously in that are allowing that to happen in a law level. So locally, sometimes your local elected officials can't do anything because they would be knowingly, willingly breaking the law that could put them in jail. So your responsibility is to pay attention so you can allow your local officials to do the right thing, right?
But if I call my dad to pardon me? Will it work? For 10 years. For
Well,
everything that I did.
if your dad's name is Biden, then yeah, it would work, right?
Joseph. I wish my... No. I don't
No,
wish my
don't
dad
wish
was...
your dad was Joseph.
I have an
No.
amazing dad.